Alright guys, what's up? It's Terrence here and I want to show you something I finally got set up after a semester of studying. So what I would like to call the perfect medical school setup here. So basically the first thing I use, one of the most important things I use is OneNote here. And OneNote is great because it can sync between my computer and SkyDrive without having to take long periods of time to upload each file every time you change it. So it only syncs the changes that you make each time. So it's not constantly syncing. If you use Dropbox or Google Drive or something and you put your OneNote files in there, it will end up trying, every time you make a change, it saves a new file and it will try to sync the new file onto Google Drive, which will take some time. So first off, what you want to do is you want to organize your largest structure here, and I use classes here. Well, it's not the largest. You need to have, well, we'll start at the smallest because the smallest is the most important. Each file is saved via these tabs at the top, and I guess Microsoft calls them sections. So each section is a file, and if it gets larger than 50 megabytes, then you won't be able to sync it. I think it's 50 or 100 megabytes, then you won't be able to sync it with SkyDrive. So I usually make each day of class one of these things for each individual subject, as you can see. So this is one day of anatomy. And then for anatomy, that day I had 3 lectures, and I'll show you one that I've already done where I have post lectures on it. Here's some of the post lectures as well. So I have the 3 lectures and their post lectures for that day in anatomy only. So each of my subjects are here as a notebook, which syncs great. Each of the days are here with an individual subject's worth of handouts for that day. This way you can sync everything, keep everything organized, and be able to access everything also very quickly. So I guess the first thing I'll say is that what I like to do is I use your school hopefully will give you handouts for each day, and then you can use one of the better programs is Adobe Reader, and you can file and print and send it to, by the way, if this looks weird, it's because I'm using 2 screens here. That's why it makes it a little bit easier for me when I'm actually studying. So I want to show you how I go through the study. And you can send it to OneNote, and it actually does a pretty good job, and I'll show you right now. Sometimes it messes up, but you can zoom in pretty darn good with some pretty good fidelity here on OneNote if you do the print to OneNote. So if you need to have, if I have a picture like this right here, I can zoom in pretty good on it and still get some pretty high fidelity. You know, I can read that pretty clearly, as you can see. So I guess the next thing would be is how I'm taking notes. And I'm not really taking any notes. I'm using Google Drive. I'm watching the videos at the same time because our school lets us have videos. And I use Pop Player, which my opinion is the best player because I can listen to these lectures. I think I'll show you right here. So it's 2.6 speed. Let's see if you can hear what it.
Pardon? My second topic. Okay. Well, we're going to go through the ear in its entirety this morning, and we're going to start with the external ear, which consists of the earlobe, which will now as a peanut, go through the external auditory meatus.
So as you can see, it's pretty fast, but at 2.6 times speed with Pop Player, it doesn't have any of the crazy pitch changes that you get in I forget what the other ones are, but Pop Player doesn't have any of the pitch changes, so I can listen to it. I can get up to 3.6 and come back down to 3 or so, but 2.6 is about where I'm at right now, and your brain just kind of adjusts over time to be able to take in, people speaking that fast. Okay, so I use this to watch my video. I'll take information from there, and this is one of the best screen capturing tools that I've seen on the market, and I've looked at a ton of them. In our school, you can get it for a cheap cheap price. It's like $10. And I think originally it's like 60 or something, but it's called Snagit. And basically, I use Snagit for everything. What you can do is you can do a quick screenshot, but it lets you do different kinds of screenshots, which is nice. But once it pulls it into this editor automatically, and the editor has a ton of functionality. You know, you can add in your words if you wanted to do something like that, if that's what you were trying to do. And then you can quickly draw lines, and you can quickly cut stuff out of there. And you know, you can even make it set the background image. This is going to be a clear spot right now because that's what the background looks like. I'll show you. Or actually, I just resized the images. But you know, you can resize it super quick. I mean, so basically, you have no issues here as far as editing, and then you can just quickly copy it to the clipboard and then paste it to wherever you want. So what I'm using for the studying is Anki, and I don't know, you can see my other videos on these, and this is basically all the studying I do is with Anki, and you can see that you know, I have pretty good setup going, and I can use charts from the handouts. You know, like I have a chart on one of these. I got a chart that you can just take straight from the handout by screenshotting it, and then you know, put that into Anki pretty quickly. Here's a chart, and I just use little squares, use the image occlusion to go out over these charts, and that's a good way to memorize a chart. And then it also helps you figure out, you know, which things you don't know, because Anki's good at that, reminding you for stuff you don't know. So Anki's great. We've already gone over that a bunch. And OneNote is great because I can sync it. I have no problems also. I have set this thing so that it has lots of backups. It's actually really quick. It might have come out there slow, but it's actually really quick. So you can go to your options here. You can set the number of backups you have. You can and you can do all this stuff here. It's pretty good. And I usually back it up, you know, once every 2 days or so. But just, you know, just to make sure that I have a safe backup to go to. But with the online syncing, you basically don't have to worry about that. I've had problems where maybe I've lost some information on one and it had it on the other one. And basically, you just have it'll give you both. It'll give you both the previous one and the one that got messed up, and you can choose which one you want. And I really haven't lost any information by doing it this way. It's always had a perfect copy for me. So that's a great thing about that. And the pop player, one other thing about the pop player, it's super easy to change the speed. Like I can, you know, you just use, you know, one button and it's X and C, you know, to change the speed to whatever you want. Okay, another thing that you need to do is have a good anatomy atlas or whatever kind of atlas that you're going to use to study with. And for me, one of the best programs, or the best program I have found from Netter, is Netter Interactive Atlas of Human Anatomy version 3. Now, I don't know where you would find this, but I'll show you how awesome this is. So I can do a word search for Palatine, let's say. And it'll come up with all the plates with Palatine in it. I can say Palatine fossa. I don't even know if it, here you go. So here you go. Pterygopalatine. It didn't even have, there's no such thing as a Palatine fossa. It had a Pterygopalatine, it had Palatine, it had fossa in it, pulled up an awesome image. These things are awesome fidelity as well. They're super clear. You can do a visual index and search by, you know, all these, and it gives you a little, at the very bottom here, it tells you what plate you're looking at, so you don't have to go around guessing. I mean, as far as Netter goes, this is the top of the line for Netter that I'm sure there's and you can do, you can set up tests where you just select the labels that you want, and it'll make a test with those on there. It's actually pretty fabulous. Another thing that I like Netter. Netter's not very good though. It's singling out what is important. And for that, I use Gray's Anatomy. Gray's Anatomy is up to the 40th edition, and it has been peer-reviewed by an ungodly amount of, I don't know, scientists, people or something. I don't know. Basically, so when I'm setting up and I'm getting ready to study, I open up Grey's Anatomy, the 40th. I figure out what I'm studying, what I'm about to look at. So right now I'm studying the ear, as you can see by this video right here. I'm studying the ear. So I'm gonna pull up Grey's Anatomy, or I already opened up. I opened up OneNote and I got the handout in here, so I can look at the handout. Pull up Grey's Anatomy 40th edition. Go to the ear. So let's see here. I'll go to external and middle ear for this right now. And this has some awesome pictures in it. Netter's is more realistic looking, but you don't get, and you kind of do get it, but you don't get the clear, singled out important stuff like this right here. This tympanic plexus, this is great. I mean, you get it's just great. 40th edition is great. Another great one that I also pull up. So I pull up Grey's Anatomy 40th, and I pull up Grey's Anatomy Student, because Grey's Anatomy Student has simplified everything. Like if you want to find some good information that's readable, 40th edition is the way to do it. So Netter, nobody had a diagram of, and I was looking for the oropharyngeal isthmus and the pharyngeal isthmus. Nobody had a diagram with these on here except for Grey's Anatomy for Students, because this is just, you get to know the spaces really well with this, and Grey's Anatomy has some other great things about it too. But the Student is awesome here. It's got great pictures, great information reading. 40th edition, great information, highly peer reviewed, so you're getting some good words in there. You're not going to get some random stuff from the internet, and tons of pictures. With these three resources, when I'm using Netter Interactive Atlas, and I'm using Grey's 40th and Grey's Student Editions, I have every single picture I can possibly need. I mean, these things just go into the greatest detail. And if you watch, so then I'll watch the video, come to a point like I got to the general structure here, and I'm going to go find a picture of the general structure of the ear. And it won't be difficult, but what I like to do is find the best one that's most representative of the information that we're going to need to know, and sometimes some extra, because I like to know a little extra stuff. But I don't want it to be too cluttered with outside information, because once you get a ton of, right now, I have a lot of stuff on Netter, and it's got overlapping. All these lectures right now are overlapping and intermingling with each other, and if I want to focus on one particular subject at a time, then I need to find pictures that normally focus on one particular subject at a time. But it's not always possible when you get some overlapping, which doesn't hurt because you get to learn a little better, and you get to see how the different parts of the body interact with each other. But it's just something to think about. You don't want to be overlapping too much, because then you end up with 1 billion cards like I have right now, which kind of sucks that way. So let's see if there's anything else you guys need to know. Snagit, quick summary right here. You get Snagit, the copier, Snagit for editor, I guess. I don't know. Snagit copy tool is what I would call it. Copy and paste tool right here. You got OneNote to store everything. I have the entire semester's worth of information here, and I have it set up to where, I can go to anything I need. Once I'm done with the semester, I'm probably going to change these labels of the dates to like an overview of what happened that day. That way, when I'm going back for reference, I can look at it up a lot. And OneNote's great. You can search any particular. You can search through one page. You can search through one section, one page. You can search through the entire OneNote. You can search through a notebook. I mean, as far as OneNote goes, it's the premium note-taking application that you can get, top of the line. And Snagit's top of the line copy and paste tool. DOM Pot Player is the top of the line media player. You can get this from Gizmos. It's freeware. You can get this from Gizmos. I mean, you just look at the types of, you have so much functionality with this thing. It's incredible. And the fidelity, like I said, at the higher speeds is pretty good too. So, and I couldn't find another one with the equal quality. And then Anki for taking notes and for using as a study tool. if they say something important, I don't need to write it down in OneNote here because it's not necessary. I put it in Anki, that way I can learn it. If it's on this handout, when I need to reference it, I can always look at the handout. I need to have written notes on the side because by watching the video and looking at the handout at the same time, I'm able to get an understanding of what's going on, like function of everything. And it's not that difficult. There's nothing super difficult to understand here. It's just memorizing all these stupid words. And same with histology, and same with biochemistry and molecular medicine. It's like all these things are not difficult to understand. What they are is they're difficult to remember the names of each particular thing and where each particular thing is. I mean, like what each particular thing secretes or something like that. But you can do that and memorize it easily with Anki, and over time you'll do great with that. One last thing I wanted to show you is that with this Snagit editor here. So let me make another. So copy that to clipboard. So I'll have 3 pictures, but yeah, I'm doing one lecture here, and I got these 3 to the clipboard. Pretend like this is the whole lecture. I come up here to the post lecture. And with Snagit, I can go ahead and open up this, view the entire library, highlight the copies that are like the screenshots that I've taken from the day, and then do a batch conversion and convert these all to PNG files. And once that's done, I can then import all the screenshots that I've taken for the day into OneNote by going to Insert and then selecting Pictures, and then I'll go to my Snagit folder here, and well, I've already had some from the previous day, but here's the 3 that I used, and then I'll insert these. And so then I have a gallery of all the pictures that I've used for this ear lecture, which means that if I want to go back and look at something real quick, like before the exam, I can go quick and scroll through these and get a good look at it. Because I mean, like here's the facial video that we were given, and there wasn't a handout for it, but this is the information that I got, or the images I got from that one lecture. I mean, here's the post scalp lecture. I mean, there's a ton of scalp and meningeal lecture. There's a lot of pictures here, a lot of good information. Why do I want to have to go find all these again and keep them all in one spot? So this is kind of how you should be looking to set things up if you want to have a pretty efficient note-taking and studying experience. And I know they give you a bunch of lectures at a time, and I'm only able to create 1 lecture's worth of Anki cards and take notes in Anki with 1 lecture's worth of information per day. And then I'm studying as I'm using Anki, because I'm going through it each day. I'm able to go through and work out all the previous lectures, so I'm not forgetting anything. And so by the time it comes up to test I have 2 days before, I've already gone over the first lecture 1,000,000 times, and you know the lecture the 2 days before, I've gone over it twice, and you know I've been in the lab a couple times looking things over, and I really haven't. This has kind of worked out pretty perfect, and right now I've gotten it to an efficiency point where I wanted to kind of share with everyone so that they can see how to do things. I mean, you pull up your video. I'm going to get repetitive here, but I want to summarize it again. Download your video, pull up the video, pull up Gray's Anatomy 40th, pull up Gray's Anatomy Student 2nd, pull up Netter Atlas 3, pull up OneNote after you've already imported your lectures like handout for that day. And so then you start playing the video, you look at the lecture handout, come to something interesting, you open up Anki, you know, and so I have all these things going on my computer at once, but it's not a big deal. I got 2 screens. I can have stuff going on the left side, right side, you know, and it's just, it really works out well. So I'm watching, making notes. I mean, you know, this head ganglion one. This is not even from a lecture. I just decided to make it because it's got Netter actually has a great set of ganglion in the head, and each nerve coming in and out of it. So, but Netter is great. But anyway, so that's how I do it, And it's something you should think about if you're not doing it that efficiently. You know, and I can do a lecture in an hour and a half and I'll be done. But you know, I spent the rest of the day studying, so by the time I get to the lecture, it's, you know, 8 o'clock at night, and I'll try to go to bed around 11 or so, watch some TV before, and chill out for a little while. But anyways, that's my ideas, and good luck to you. Good luck studying. One last thing. If you use Windows 8, the reason why I'm able to pull this netter up is that I'm using Windows 8. Windows 8, the file browser, something. It has a built-in image and ISO file loader, I guess. So basically, I have an ISO file which belongs on a CD. So every time if I wanted to use this netter CD on Windows 7, I'd have to pull it up in, you know, Power ISO or Magic ISO or something like that. But with Windows 8, it's got a built-in, it's an ISO mounter, is basically what you call it. So this is an ISO, but with Windows 8, and I just double click it, it automatically mounts this file as if it's a CD put in the CD drive here. So as you can see, normally there'd be a CD drive. Now this has got that Netter Atlas 3 in it. And then I just hit this Atlas, you know, the exe, like I'm running it from the CD. So Windows 8, pretty good. I have been very happy with it. Haven't heard any good complaints. I actually have heard one good complaint, and that is that the apps aren't as good. But that's not a problem with the operating system. Oh, I guess, and also some of the integration between the desktop and the apps. You don't know. Sometimes you don't know whether or not it's going to pull up an app or not. Like if I'm gonna go listen to this, so I want to listen to some music here, and I got, let's see, some classical music, and I've clicked on this. Well, oops, now I got the music app from Xbox Music open, and it's fine with me because I like the app. But if I wanted to do something else and I wanted to just put it on, I have to reassociate it all, which isn't a big deal, but you just never know what's going to happen when you pull these things up. Let me turn this off here. Go back to the desktop. So you just never know. I mean, I could reassociate it with the Windows Media Player, which isn't a problem, but I actually like it, so I kept it there. It's just a little gripe that people have, and that is pretty valid if you, but you can see this, I don't know. Anyways, thanks for watching. Good luck studying, and I'll see you next time.